Where's baby?
Baby. You got a kiss for your baby?
Where is he?
Hi, my name is Dr. Naya Williams. I am double boarded in OBGYN as well as maternal-fetal medicine.
Hi.
Hi.
No.
No. No. No.
Hi. Hi.
You're so sweet. Can you say hi?
Yes. So we have always wanted to become parents. And when we started trying to have kids, it just wasn't working. The time kept going by. We ended up, after like 2 years, seeing a doctor and doing some like Clomid, things like that. And then we ended up, none of that worked. We ended up having a miscarriage. After that, we were like, we have to go see someone else. So we ended up going to see a fertility specialist. And once we got there, we did how many?
5 rounds.
5 rounds.
IVF.
We ended up with a whole bunch of embryos and nothing. Transfers always ended in a chemical pregnancy or a miscarriage, and we never were able to get past. We were never able to get past like 9 weeks. We didn't know what the cause was, but I think we ended up going through 6 miscarriages total. And then we ended up deciding we were going to foster. And so that was just always something we wanted to do. We just thought we would do it after we had children of our own. So then we ended up having a foster son for about a year. And as we were in the process of him going to another family member, I was just naturally pregnant, even though we had all these embryos in the freezer and had done all this work. And when we got there, we were like, it's probably going to end again. So just don't think about it. Like we just kind of put it out of our minds, but everything was okay. And so we kept at it and we ended up having our daughter.
We've been together forever and like we always knew we wanted to be parents. And I think that just how much work it took to become parents, I feel like made us that much. I mean, there were so many times where we wanted to quit. And we're like, this is never going to work. Like, this is never going to happen. And I would always go to her and I'd be like, oh my God, like, we're going to start a completely different life. Like,
we said we were going to live in a high rise in Chicago and be people who didn't have kids. But we knew we were like, some way or another, we're going to make it happen. We will be parents. We're made to be parents. So we just didn't know when it would be. But it finally came true.
What really stood out to me about Katelyn and her case was that I met her actually for the first time in the hospital. Katelyn came in with a really short cervix at around 19 weeks pregnant.
Katelyn already had established with a high-risk specialist and then came to me to kind of add me to the piece. Having already an outline plan from MFM, but then seeing what I could do to kind of help facilitate that and help kind of with the day-to-day, how you're feeling and how you're doing mentally, physically, kind of everything for a pregnancy.
The saddest part about infertility is that you do not get to enjoy your pregnancy whatsoever. Where like she's pregnant, but there's no way this is gonna last.
Sadly, we just like ignored it. Like we didn't get excited about it. We didn't really tell many people. We were just like, I'm sure it's just never gonna work out.
We went to the fertility doctor and they got you on like a whole
had a whole regimen of medicines and things that ended up working. And then when we were finally starting to let our guard down, we went to our anatomy scan, and that's when the doctor said, you need to go to the hospital right now. Your cervix is very thin and short, and you're going to need like help if this is going to work. We left with no hope, and then we met Dr. Williams at the hospital. She just happened to be the one that was working, and that was such a blessing because she was like, it's going to be okay. She was honest about it and said, no, like it's scary, but like we're going to do it the best we can. It's just like a happy energy. Like you feel like, okay, she cares about you and she is going to make this okay and she's going to do the best she can.
So this was a spontaneous pregnancy, a true blessing. And here they are at almost a halfway point in a really dire situation with almost no cervix being seen on ultrasound. So during pregnancy, we have the uterus. That's where the baby is held. But then you also have the important organ of the cervix. The cervix typically is around 4 centimeters in length. And so that cervix stays nice and closed, hopefully, until it's time for delivery. What we know, though, is that in some circumstances, the cervix can start to shorten and it can start to weaken. And when that happens prematurely, that increases that risk of a preterm delivery. And I reviewed with them that at this point, really our only intervention to help hopefully save the pregnancy would be a cerclage. And that's a procedure where we actually put a stitch around the cervix to hopefully try to keep it closed and maintain the strength of the cervix so that she could get much farther along in the pregnancy. Even though on ultrasound, there looked to be a little bit of cervix left, that sometimes when we get into the OR, that is not the case. They wanted to do everything they possibly could to save the pregnancy. And so we went forward with the cerclage procedure.
Actually, when we had our first miscarriage, the doctor we were seeing then,
Yeah.
like,
Well, it's just a lot to think of. At that time, it was just like the scariest thing. We're so excited to finally be pregnant and past the 9-week point and at 20 weeks. And then it was just a scary time for us.
pregnancy after so many losses and everything, you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like
every appointment, you're like, I know probably we'll go and it'll be bad news today.
And I really feel like the anatomy scan was like, holy shit. Like I was like shaking beforehand. I was like, this is going to be so bad. And then we get to it.
Also, we were like, during it, we were thinking, finally, we made it. This is it. This is like the last step. Then the rest is going to be a breeze. Like,
yeah.
So here at Valley Perinatal, we are very, very aggressive in monitoring our patients with a history of a short cervix, especially those two who have gotten a cerclage. So once the procedure was completed, Katelyn saw me as an outpatient about a week later so that we could check in to make sure that she was feeling okay. We monitored her really closely throughout the remainder of the pregnancy, especially during the next vital 8 to 12 weeks, making sure that we weren't seeing any changes that might require hospitalization or other interventions for us to do.
After we had our daughter, we were like, well, it took us so long to get her. We'll just see what happens. We want more kids. Like, we're not going to go on birth control or do any of that stuff. Like, well, I'm sure it'll take 6 years again. That's our thought process.
Infertility was a good enough birth control.
Yeah. Surprisingly, again, we were naturally pregnant and we kind of were like, well, don't think about it because that was a fluke. Like she was just our miracle and it's not going to happen again. Well, then this little guy was just strong too. And we had talked to Dr. Williams after we had her and she's like, just next time we'll just do the cerclage right away. So we won't have to worry. You won't have the 20-week anatomy scan and freak out or, we'll just get it right from the start. And most of the time, a second cerclage goes smoother than the first.
I was pleasantly surprised to see that Katelyn was back on my schedule less than a year after delivery. We know at this point, because of her history, she would be considered a high-risk patient. So I wanted to make sure that I saw them early in the pregnancy because this time she would be a candidate for something that we call a history-indicated cerclage, meaning that based on her prior history, we would see her early and place a cerclage between 12 to 14 weeks. So this would be before the cervix even gets a chance to start shortening and decrease the risk during that pregnancy.
So we went in at, I think, 13 weeks with him and had the cerclage, and it was less stressful because we had it planned. We went in, she was there, we knew the drill, and I never had any problems with my cervix throughout my pregnancy with him.
Once we did Katelyn's first trimester ultrasound, so around 12 weeks, we also did all of the genetic testing that needed to be done, and everything was going well with the pregnancy up until that point. She got scheduled for her history-indicated cerclage at 13 weeks. The cervix was nice and long, which does decrease the risk for complications. We don't have to worry about the membranes being present or increased bleeding and things of that nature.
He ended up coming a couple weeks early, but that was due to a whole high blood pressure issue. It was different. My cervix stayed nice and long and perfect the whole time, and he didn't even want to come out.
So this pregnancy, she made it just right into term, and her cervix would have held out. She actually came to see me in the office for her cerclage removal. So we do that in the office. She mentioned to me that she was actually seen in the hospital a few days prior with some elevated blood pressures. I felt like at that point in time, it was best to send her back into the hospital and get prepared for delivery. So I let her OB know so they could do all of the appropriate evaluation there, and they agreed that it was time to move forward with delivery.
I joke, I put her in hospital jail the week before for similar blood pressures, that it was like, behave yourself or we may have to go early. And yeah, I could update Dr. Williams immediately, like, hey, we're here for blood pressures, but things are okay. And that shared decision-making and shared trust of, you know, how far are we gonna try to stay pregnant? You know, the risks and benefits of blood pressure, of baby, of Katelyn, of everything is in flux. It's not something that is static or that goes unchanged. And so you can't initiate a plan and just put it on autopilot and say, this is what we're doing. And the next week, Dr. Williams texts me, hey, her blood pressures are high, her cerclage is out, it's go time. And then, yeah, you drop everything you're doing and you have a baby.
So they induced me because of the high blood pressure issues, and it felt like it took forever for it to like progress, but then it was ready, time to get him out. And he just wasn't holding up well with like when we were pushing and stuff, he just took a while to recover. And so Dr. Reise, who's also just amazing and just makes you feel like she's got it and everything's going to be okay, was like, the last thing I want to do is turn this into a C-section right now, but we want to keep both of you safe. And at that point, we're like, we'll do whatever we need to do. And it ended up being so much less scary than I thought it was going to be. And I know in the future, if I have more babies, it'll just be a planned C-section. And now I'm not scared because it was really not what it's cracked up to be. After it was all said and done, like, it was the safest option and it was the best option in that moment. I think that like going through the whole experience, it's definitely made me like appreciate my kids more. And not that other people don't, but I just think that they might not have been here. And so it makes you appreciate it more. And you just know that it was a miracle that they are here and that you waited so long to finally meet them.
Honestly, the biggest thing that infertility takes from you is you finally get this thing that you want and you don't get to enjoy it. Us having a great team, that helped. Doctors who know how to talk to you, treat you, it made the entire experience so much better and so much easier.
I think the doctors can make or break it because you either leave feeling like they care about you and they're making sure things are going to go like the right way, or you feel like, oh, they don't even listen to me and they took 5 seconds and they're in and out and like they don't even know who I am, you know? And I feel like with Dr. Reise and Dr. Williams, they knew who we were, they'd remember us, they know our names, they know our story. And I think that makes a world of difference.
We're so grateful that you were there for us and that you will continue to be there for us. You know, we'll be back.
We'll see you again at least once.
Yes. And
hopefully.
Yeah, just
thank you for all you did for us.
Yes. Don't do it. No, don't say hi. Peekaboo. Don't look at her.
Can you do peekaboo?
Don't look at her. Don't look at her. Don't look at her. Stop. She's shy. Don't look at her. Wellesley, no. 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 You guys silly. Hey.
So this is our little 4-pound miracle. Huh. Huh.
Da?
Yeah.